let's move to the operations center of the future. How are we going to pull all this together? We've got all this complexity, we've got all these industries, we've got this hybrid environment. What does the operations center of the future look like?
Well, that's a really interesting question, and we've been working with some of the key thinkers in the business from the operator community who are looking at how their business is going to transform to answer just that question. One of the things I love about the work we do on the forum, I started off talking about macro level industry changes and technology levels in 5G. Then we were talking a little bit about detailed technology in orchestration, but we also look at this operations side. At the end of the day, all the technology in the world isn't much help if you can't operate it and run a profitable business out of it. So the operations center of the future will have to change quite a lot. And we've seen in what we've talked about already this afternoon, some of the key factors, a lot of partners, not just a number of big partners, but a very small partners, huge numbers of very small partners who you have to operate with. And if there are faults or issues, you'll have to have relationships with those. So you'll have to be really slick at doing that. Automation, one of the things I didn't talk about under orchestration is automation is absolutely king to making these things work successfully. And so rather than people manually doing processes, this will be about people making sure that the automated processes are working correctly. But I think the biggest change will be change itself. At the moment, particularly in the telco space, we're used to bringing in new services every few months, upgrades every few quarters. In the environment we're talking about here, we need to move to an idea that's been running in IT for some time, the concept of DevOps, which is where we bring in very small changes very frequently. I don't know what the real number is. People talk about Facebook deploying anywhere between 7 and 15 software releases into their live environment a day, as opposed to telcos who do 1 or 2 a year. That idea of putting in very small changes, change being a constant, and operating within that environment. And we've had a number of members who've been doing a lot of work on that. And we've published some key guides available to members, some of the impacts of that, some of the changes around that, and how that will change some of the well-established process models. So another really interesting area to look at, and absolutely fundamental to making a successful business.
Great. There is so much here, and as you say, as you emphasized toward the end there, speed is so important here. All right. Speaking of change, let's talk a bit about the program and what the program is doing to facilitate change.
So I'll be really quick here, but we've talked about two things, right? We've talked about technology change, and we've talked about this whole marketplace change. Craig talked about that multi-trillion-dollar opportunity, and we talked in 5G and with NFV about the technology. That means many people who are currently successful businesses in this area are going to have to make massive internal change so that they're ready for those external changes. And that's what we focus on, that internal change. It breaks down into two broad groups. Top right there, what I was just talking about, business and process transformation, ready to play a role in an ecosystem, dealing with constant change, but then also the IT transformation. So I talked a little bit about automation, orchestration, but there's also a whole bunch of stuff around the way you architect your IT, going away from static integration of applications to dynamically integrated service-based architectures. We've been talking about service architectures for a while, but as you move into this idea of technology platforms, that really, really becomes the fundamental architectural constant there. Not an area we've touched on here, but an area we're doing a lot of work in. So we're really looking at both of those aspects, and it's a very exciting time for anybody playing in this industry at the moment. Huge opportunities, but a lot of work to do to take advantage of those.
And again, as we talked about with IOE, I think there are a number of deliverables that are available on our website that can really help people to understand this. Are there not?
Yes, there are. There's a range of free resources. I would strongly recommend starting off with some of the publications, which give you a great overview here, and most of those have a lot of hyperlinks in them to other resources. Including the Catalyst program, which we haven't really talked about here, but a lot of the work the Catalyst do is proving out little pieces of this and both proving concepts that we've documented and finding the gaps that our collaborative program then go on and work on. So have a look at, say, the Operations Center of the Future document Extra Insights guide you can download, and then there's hundreds of hyperlinks in there that take you to more and more forum material. Some of the most detailed resources are available only to members and a key benefit of membership, but there's a lot of material that's available to non-members as well.